Good morning. In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you how you will complete your proficiency tracker for Unit 1 and Unit 2 as the first step in your portfolio of learning. So let's begin. This proficiency tracker is a way for us to have a record of your proficiency for each of the standards in each of our units. Specifically, this tracker is about Unit 1, our collisions unit. In our table here, we see that there is a column that is addressing the unit or the strand. So that means, for example, science and engineering practices, that would be a strand. And then Unit 1, contact forces, that's a unit. And then specifically in these categories, there are specific standards and skills that you are evaluated on. So for example, in the science and engineering practices, there were standards and skills around defining problems, evaluating competing designs, etc. Here we have the work samples that would show your proficiency level. They're also called alignments in Canvas. Specifically, some of their final assessments related to these standards were the soccer test, the Smashing Pumpkins quiz, and then the pumpkin helmet engineering project. As you scroll down, you will see that for each standard, if you move your way across, there is a white box. This white box is going to be the box that you fill in as you complete this chart. To complete this chart, you will need to go to Canvas. So from Canvas, you are going to want to go into Grades. And from Grades, many of you have it set to go immediately to Assignments. You're going to want to make sure and be in your Learning Mastery. So click on the Learning Mastery. Once you get here, you will see that there are 3 categories. And these categories, units, or strands, align with this left column. So we have Science and Engineering Practices, back at Canvas, Science and Engineering Practices. In order to see the scores that I got, my highest level of proficiency in each of these standards, I'm going to click this little caret right here. That is going to show me the 6 standards that were in this category and my scores. So I'm going to look here, number 1, defining problems. I got a 3 out of 4. So if I come back to my chart, and your chart is going to be on paper, so you won't have to be clicking back and forth on the screens. You'll be able to just leave your canvas up. So I come over here, defining problems. It was from that engineering packet. And I would put my score right here. I got a 3. Next, evaluating competing designs. So I'll be sure to look at Canvas. The next standard is developing and using models. This was for our second unit. We're not going to address this one yet. Next, we have evaluating competing designs. The score was a 3 out of 4. So I come back to my chart, evaluating competing design, 3 out of 4. Argument from evidence. This was from Unit 2. The next one that we needed from Unit 1 is obtaining and evaluating information, 3. Go back here. I write down a 3. And then finally, communicating information, final report. Come over here, communicating information, 3 out of 4. And I put a 3. Did you reach proficiency in this standard? Yes or not yet? So in order to reach proficiency in standard, or rather in Canvas, they call it mastered, you need to get at least a 3. So a 3 or a 4 would be considered reaching proficiency. So for all of these, yes, this student reached proficiency. So I would write yes. And then there are 4 standards. The number of standards mastered in this unit or strand is 4. Well done, student. Next, I'm going to go on to the next category, Unit 1, Contact Forces. So if I look in Canvas, I can now minimize these science and engineering practices. and I'm going to maximize the Unit 1 contact forces. So I come over here, motion of two colliding objects, 3 out of 4. Motion of two colliding objects. And see, I just go to the white box, 3 out of 4. Shape change and collisions. Shape change and collisions, 2 out of 4. Speed, kinetic energy, and peak force, 1 out of 4. Kinetic energy, mass, and speed, 2 out of 4. And energy conservation and transfer, a 4 out of 4. And that one goes way over here. So 3 out of 4, yes, that standard was mastered. 2 out of 4, not yet. 1 out of 4, not yet. 2 out of 4, not yet. And then 4 out of 4, yes. So I'm going to count these up. I've got 2 yeses and 3 not yets. So 2 of the 5 standards were mastered. Once you have completed Unit 1, you are going to get your next sheet of paper and complete Unit 2. Again, we have our category or our units and strands. Notice we have our science and engineering practices again. And then we have our Unit 2, non-contact forces. These are the standards and skills. These are the different assessments or tasks that we did to demonstrate proficiency. And I would go back over to Canvas, minimize the contact forces, look at science and engineering practices. There was developing and using models and argument from evidence. So I could see developing and using models was a 3. Argument from evidence was a 3. So I can come over here and write 3, 3, yes, yes, and 2. And then the non-contact forces, I'm going to minimize that science and engineering practices, come back to non-contact and open that up. Interactions in fields. Interactions in fields, I got a 4. And then the sound waves, a 3. Did I master? Yes, yes, and then 2 out of 2. Another thing that you need to do on this particular page is write down your current letter grade in Canvas. And to find that, you can stay in your Learning Mastery Gradebook. And if you look up in the upper right corner, you will see your letter grade. So currently the letter grade that this student has is a B+. So I would come down here and write B+. Once you have completed this, you are done with the first step of your portfolio. Well done.